think you got enough notes there, buddy?
This is the ticket to your future.
All right.
You're getting me worked up. You don't want them?
No.
Me. Now I have.
Come on, man.
Quicker you put your hands in my hands, the quicker I'll stop. And I owe it all to you, 'cause it's Patrick Swayze. Had the time of. You like it because I just said to put your hands in my hands and I'll stop. Hey, baby.
What's up?
Tell me about Cuomo. I haven't done a lot of reading on this only because I like Cuomo.
So I'll tell you about Cuomo. So Governor.
He's not our governor.
Governor
by the way,
Cuomo.
So I don't even know why we're
Not my
interested.
governor, but like Governor Andrew Cuomo.
All I know is that Lamont's not out there on the news. That's all I'm saying.
Governor Andrew Cuomo is under fire right now because allegations came out back in I think March or something earlier this year.
How many?
I think two or three women came out and said that he had sexually harassed them, and you know he refuted it. Whatever, everybody was waiting to see what happened. So Letitia James, which is the Attorney General for New York, I think.
Sounds like what?
She is. She. I don't know if it was independently or if he called for it. I think he said, well, if I'm sexually harassing people, launch an investigation. And she said, okay, gladly. So she launched an investigation. She was like, yeah, I can do that right now. So she launched the investigation. And at the time, everyone was like, we'll wait to see more on the investigation, see what she says before anybody rushes to judgment. Chris Cuomo said it. I think Biden said it. Everybody was just waiting for this thing to come out. De Blasio, everybody. Well, it came out. 11 women, multiple.
That's me writing 11.
11 women, multiple instances of sexual harassment. They say he's guilty. They have statements from the women. They have corroborating statements from witnesses.
Corroborating. Okay. No, I thought you were giving me a word. I was like,
cooperating.
Collaborating?
Corroborating.
Collaborating?
No, to corroborate. To like.
It feels like there's a W in there. Corroborate.
What is wrong with you?
Spell it.
I can't spell it. But like to
like a koala.
No, to prove a bunch of people saying the same thing. Corroborating. So they're saying, I don't know. It's up there.
Okay.
So they're saying that he absolutely did it. There's witness statements. There's statements from the women.
I believe them.
It's a whole thing. So does Letitia James. She literally said in her press conference, I believe women. I believe that this man did this. And, you know, this is what it is. So then Biden came out and said, if Letitia said it, I believe it. De Blasio.
I read Biden's statement and he said that he thinks he should resign.
Yeah, resign immediately.
Like just.
That's it. You're done. He's like, I believe these allegations. Resign. So do a lot of Democrats. All the Republicans, of course, are coming out saying like, yeah, you get out of there. Even Mayor de Blasio, which they never got along, but de Blasio made a really forceful statement that's like, listen, he killed those people in the nursing home.
Oh, Lord.
He
scared me.
He's over there killing women. He's killing old women. He's touching young women.
I mean, to be fair.
Get him up out of there.
With all this going on right now, imagine getting on TV and being like, show me the proof. Like, you don't want to ruin your own.
He got on TV and said, show me the proof. Andrew Cuomo.
No. I mean, like, imagine Biden or like even if
that's a foregone conclusion.
Even if they're good friends with Cuomo, you don't want to have a mic in your face and be like, I don't think he did it, because it's like when it comes to stuff like this, you better be on the correct side of it.
Oh yeah. So they're all calling for him to resign. He made a statement saying this is ridiculous. You know, people have known me. I've been in the spotlight for my entire life. There's no way I could have done these things.
Yeah.
You know, look at these pictures of my family and like.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but people hated the statement. They said it was ridiculous. The proof is in the pudding, and he did these things. So,
there was an exact. I mean, I think we've got it.
He's in the long line of people who have done, politicians and higher, of course, the Me Too movement. People of power who are abusing their power.
James Franco.
To sexually harass or otherwise make women uncomfortable. But the allegations on him are stronger than just making women uncomfortable. It's not
James
just that
Franco is not on trial here.
Not James Franco. I'm talking about Cuomo. Not just that he said things to women. He touched them. He put them in particular, rooms with them, and he. One woman said he was reaching, for a thing and just swiped her hole underneath her blouse. Whatever.
Lord.
So, there's strong allegations, whatever. So, the question is, why does it seem that now these things are more prevalent than ever?
Mm-hmm.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
And, what do we think is the cause of this? Why did the Me Too movement happen? And why is it that we're finding out every single day,
somebody else,
not just 12 women, 30 women, 50 women in the case of R. Kelly and stuff, why are all of these people coming out when before you'd be lucky to get one person who knew a person who might have probably got touched and they come out,
It definitely is every other day, and it's been this way for a while actually. This has not died down. It has been this way for quite some time, where you just have woman after woman after woman coming out. So are more sexual assaults happening, which means more are being reported, and that's what the spotlight is on them for? Or are sexual assaults, have they always been happening consistently, and now more women are just more comfortable reporting them? And obviously you know my answer.
So what do you think?
I am a woman, and I can promise you that sexual assault has been consistent since the first woman, because that's just what it is, as sad as that sounds. And I just think that women, I'm here to speak for the women. That's why I'm here, right?
Yeah,
You're the male opinion?
No. I mean, yes, but no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm not speaking for Cuomo.
You're asking Kevin, I'll be here by myself. So reporting live. No. Sexual assault, women being made to feel uncomfortable, guys going to grab things and swiping their breasts has been something hundreds of years, honestly. But the difference is that finally women feel like this is a world where our word actually matters. People believe us. There are women in power like Letitia James who would actually look into it, and this wasn't there 100 years ago, or even 50 years ago, or even 10 years ago. Yeah, even in the early 2000s, if you worked in an office and your boss, went to go open up a door and rubbed his hand against you, you kind of just shrugged it because you needed that job. You know what I mean? So the world is definitely changing. I feel like we are getting more and more closer to a world where women are treated as equal. I mean, we still got some work to do, but I think women finally feel safe reporting it, or at least safer than they did 20 years ago. 20 years ago, these things would happen and you would report it and you'd probably lose your job, or you would be scared to lose your job, so you wouldn't report it at all, and you would just, not say anything about it, and you and the women in your office all knew that your boss was a piece of crap, and it is what it is because we get paid really well. And nowadays it's not like that.
To add to that, I feel like the consequences for the men that do this are heavier than it used to be.
Yeah, they're not getting a talking to.
20 years ago, if you came out and said something, he might get moved to another department or a different branch.
Might get talked to. Shirley doesn't like when you touch her breasts. All right, no problem.
Even if there was punishment, he might get suspended for a week, with pay or something, or move to, like I said, a different department or a different state. where he gets
more
paid
anyway.
more and there's like a lower cost of living and everything like that, where like a punishment, quote unquote.
Yeah, no,
but like now
nowadays,
it's like
it's
you're
serious.
fired, or like resign right now immediately, no pay.
Look what Bill Cosby
We're
went
gonna
through.
cancel the show until we figure out more. We're gonna
stand behind the women, and this is the first time in history where we have been stood behind, or at least immediately believed, versus innocent until proven guilty. Like nowadays, if you go to your HR department and you say so and so did this to make me feel uncomfortable, it's immediately an investigation. Immediately, like, you're gonna need to go home until we figure this out, while the woman, tells her side of the story, and that's a really big deal for us. So hopefully this is signs that the world is moving in the correct direction.
So
Hopefully.
Being that I have to speak for the men and not speak for the men that did this, but like
we like to touch your breast because
being that okay, I'm gonna
play devil's advocate.
Play devil's advocate. I'm
Yeah.
gonna throw a little, some of the opinions that I've seen around the thing to where it's like, okay, what would you say about the people that would say it's unfair that the punishment is so quick and so severe immediately once the story comes out? Like the minute someone says that you did something, some of these times the show gets pulled, sponsorships get pulled, shows get pulled, or something like that. So it's like, is that a problem where it's like these people are being punished before we even have the results of the investigation?
I didn't really know where you were going with that at first, but like, okay, I will answer that question with a small story. So there was a story, I don't know, years and years ago. It was a young college student. I don't know any of the details, so like don't quote me. But a young college girl said that she was gang raped in a bathroom at a party, and all four of those guys were definitely in jail, and like lost their scholarships for college, and then it ended up coming out later
that she lied,
she
or
was
it was
just
consensual.
She was just out here just you know how it is.
Doing the thing with the thing.
Sometimes you know how it is. Sometimes
I don't know.
I don't either. But
okay,
I just they absolutely got kicked. No! Stop it. My mother watches this. So, no, she absolutely lied. Like,
right.
Because I believe she was having consensualness.
And there are people that lie, There's sometimes someone and not all the time,
but yeah.
It's not all the time.
Sometimes things
happen.
go in a way that you don't really expect it to, and these women will, definitely add a little bit to the story there. So for these 4 kids or 3 boys or whatever, like they lost their scholarships and they were in jail. So it does suck that it's an immediate reaction. The minute a woman says like, hey, this happened to me, it's immediate reaction without getting the entire truth. And then even if you do get the entire truth, the damage is kind of done. Like those boys were known as rapists, even though
the dudes who are falsely in prison, they come out and if anything, the city will give them $1 million restitution for the 5 years they were in jail.
Yeah, no, I didn't even mean that far. But those boys were in jail during the trial until it finally came out.
But I'm talking more in the sense of today's world. Kevin Spacey, for example, the minute those allegations came out, King of the Castle, what the hell is that show called?
King of the Hill.
House of Cards.
House of Cards.
Immediately, that show was canceled.
So here's my thing.
Pulled off the air instantly.
Here's my thing.
The allegation.
And I don't know if you would agree with this or not, but I am someone who goes to work every day, and I don't do anything inappropriate. And I will never get put into a situation where someone is accusing me of doing something inappropriate, because I am very careful when I go to work to be 100% appropriate. So maybe Cuomo did not sexually harass any of these women, but he put himself in a situation for someone to create a story that he possibly might have done it.
There's witnesses.
Yeah, no, but I just mean like in general,
yeah.
Maybe he didn't do those things, but he definitely did something for this to happen, and that's still his fault.
Yeah, or like with the Kevin Spacey thing, where it's like, why would they be so quick to cut it off if they didn't themselves be like, I mean, Kevin is a little bit weird with kids.
Yeah, like I just feel like even if these people are, it's a long shot to say they're 100% innocent, never even looked at a woman. Every time a woman walked in, he looked at the ground. It's like, where is this coming from then? There's got to be something there, and I personally don't ever put myself in a situation for something like this to come out of.
Neither do I.
So I just feel like, even if they're innocent, they did something that they shouldn't have. And we say that all the time. Like Like, think about the guys that, like, let's say a guy is like, I didn't cheat on you. My ex was there at the party and she grabbed me and just started kissing me. Like, why are you at the party with?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
why are you
like,
at the party with your ex?
Don't put yourself in that situation to
Fair
begin
enough.
with.
So, I mean, sometimes you can't avoid it, but just to wrap it up, like.
That's it?
No.
Oh, I was like, yo, this was like 10 minutes. Whoa.
I mean, to wrap up that point right there.
Okay.
Just to put a nice little bow on it. So basically, like, it's not all the time where there's smoke, there's fire. You know, that whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know what that means.
where there's smoke, there's fire. So
Yes.
if you see smoke, there's likely there's a fire there.
Oh,
so if you
okay.
see something...
So you're saying not always?
And not always, right? Because, like, sometimes people do get put into situations where they're forced to be a little too close or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Even if that's the case, it's better in your... Like, so would you say that it's better that we get some stuff going immediately while we investigate rather than the alternative and just let the actual people who are doing this just roam around free of any consequences until we can figure out if the woman is...
But don't you believe
the
that
people are lying or
they
not.
deserve the negative stigma even if it's the truth or a lie because they put themselves in this situation? Take these 4 boys that had consensual sex with this girl in the... Why are you doing that?
Yeah, why y'all having sex in that?
In a public bathroom, why are 4 guys having sex with 1 girl? It's like, does that decision sound
Right.
like the best decision at the time? So
at the very least, it's like it should teach you next time to like not to be more careful with yourself. I mean,
do they
just
deserve to be called rapists for the rest of their lives? No, because it was consensual. But did all 4 of them have to put themselves in that situation? That's all I'm saying.
That and I feel like it's a small. It's only small instances of like the people are lying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it always comes out that like some people lie, but like that's few and far between those cases.
You're
where
saying
it's
a
like
lot of
people,
things that don't know what they mean.
Few and far between. Few and far between.
So not
like,
likely.
Not many times does it happen, and then it's not even often on top of that.
Gotcha.
So
I've heard it, but I mean, if we're
so it's like
gonna use them.
Yeah. So just because there's some cases where people have lied doesn't mean that we need to treat every woman like a liar.
Yeah, like
it's better to treat them as if why would they lie than it is to treat them like liars offhand.
Yes, absolutely. I believe that's what the world has taught us, that you cannot outrightly just be like...
Well, that's what the world now is saying.
Yes.
Because before it wasn't like that. Before it was treat them with skepticism until we can get some proof. And it was really hard for victims of sexual assault and stuff to even get a case started.
Absolutely.
Because it's like their word versus his.
Yeah, no.
Now it's like, yeah, we're going to err on the side of the victim. You got to prove you didn't
do it.
do this.
I mean, honestly, in this country, everything is innocent until
That's so harsh.
guilty. But when it comes to sexual assault, when it comes to kids, obviously like murder, that kind of thing, like there are just some things where you can't be like, like imagine telling a kid like, are you sure they've been beating you this whole time? Do you have any proof? Like you gotta kind of
gotta
believe.
come in and
if it turns out not to be true,
one.
then you go from there.
And then apologize.
But that's the safer bet.
Yeah.
And in the instance of Cuomo, like,
I feel the
do I
same.
believe Cuomo aggressively cornered 11 women? And not necessarily, but do I believe Cuomo patted a chick on the butt?
Let's talk about that aspect of it. So he's old. Cuomo's like what, 60 years old or something like that?
So was Bill Cosby.
And so was Bill Cosby, and so is Kevin Spacey, and so is a lot of these politicians, Me Too
Harvey
people.
Weinstein.
Well, he was out there raping women. That's
Whoa.
that's a whole different monster.
I just meant like they're all older.
But like he's also like a just a straight up
All right. Well.
R word. So I believe that there's a not stereotype, but there's a archetype of...
I just thought I was going to stop doing that.
There's an archetype of an older man, right, who's from like a bygone era, where you can just pat the waitress on the butt after she pours your coffee. Thanks, Toots, and give her a little bop. Good job. You know what I mean? Rub a woman's back and be like, hey, sweetie, I'm lost. Can you give me directions to whatever? Or like, put your arm around her and just be like, hey, it's a good thing that we work so well together, haha, and just give her a little squeeze on the shoulder. those guys, right? Those are the older gentlemen that we're talking about. I feel like Cuomo is from that age.
Yeah.
Should there be any leniency towards them because they're from that era of like, no one ever told me this wasn't okay. I'm just giving her a compliment. You know what I mean? Like, or just like, are they monsters just like the Harvey Weinsteins and the R. Kellys? Like, should he lose all his endorsements and be fired and never work in this town again?
I mean, it's hard because if any man has ever grabbed me by the shoulder, it has been an older gentleman, and I usually brush it off as to be like, sir, if you don't get your hand off like the small of my back.
Yeah.
Like, it's strange.
Like,
Obviously,
hey, I'm looking for this product. Can you
or
show
like,
me where it
excuse
is?
me, sorry, excuse me. Like, sir, if you don't, like, stop. But, like, I hear what you're saying. No, they shouldn't be put in the same boat as the Harvey Weinsteins and the R. Kellys of the world, because it does come from a time when you could really be like, that dress is making your body look great today, Francesca. And it's like, well, thanks. Like, it's a different time, and I get it. A lot of these allegations are coming from when this stuff was super mainstream. Like,
Yeah.
not to get too into Bill Cosby, but I know one of his things is the fact that, like, everyone was doing this. Like, it was a thing. Like,
But again, he was.
no. What I'm saying is the way that he would casually talk about roofing women, he would make jokes about it as if, and people would laugh. It's a really, really different time.
Yeah,
What he
he's
was
from,
doing,
like, a different.
yeah, like what he was doing was absolutely wrong, but he was never hiding it. So it just goes to show that, like
He didn't think it was wrong.
if you became,
or it wasn't wrong.
if
where
you
he
made
come
a
from.
joke right now on this podcast about roofing a woman, like, YouTube would shut it down. Meanwhile, Bill Cosby would joke about this and people would laugh about it. So, like, I get that Cuomo was from a time where you could pat a woman on the butt and it was normal. So, like, I don't know about leniency, but it does suck that this is kind of coming up.
Bush Sr., he was accused at the end of his life. Man was 80 years old. They were accusing him of sexually harassing women because he was rolling around in his wheelchair and he was cupping butt cheeks. You know what I mean? Just
It's sad.
it's
They
sad,
shouldn't
but
be
like
considered the same monsters as the Bill Cosbys and the Harvey Weinsteins. What they did was wrong, but at the time they may not have known, and times are changing. So I feel like a lot of these women are in their 60s and they're like, Cuomo did grab my ass in 1989, and then they're like, you know.
No, but these are the younger people that still work for him.
That still work for him. That
like
he's,
currently, that
he's still doing this nonsense.
cupping
So that's
butts
his
and
fault
stuff.
for not educating himself to know that this is wrong now.
Because I think you said it in our last video. You can't blame. Oh, this is how I grew up.
No.
You know, on your actions. Like,
if-
get with the times. Like,
if
you're
Cuomo's
an
gonna
adult
be
person.
if Cuomo's going to be a person of power, especially
If he's a governor, like
Especially if he's
leading a state
a governor,
as big
yeah.
as New York.
So if women were coming out and saying in 1989 Cuomo cupped my butt, then I think most women would just be like, you know, like, that was a long time ago, and kind of like just brush it off. But for him to be a person of power, for him to be someone who's supposed to be leading the city of New York, it's his fault for not educating himself, and it's his fault for not acting appropriate.
But do we feel great about the sleazy old man types getting their comeuppance?
I have been a woman for 28 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I have been on, you know, my side of men making me feel uncomfortable. It honestly is like a rite of passage, as sad as that sounds. So I feel for these women that think it's inappropriate. I've had men, as I've worked in retail, put their hands on my shoulders or try and hug me or
Food's here.
the Chinese is here.
Yes.
But anywho,
It's
it's Cuomo's fault for not educating himself, and I believe that as a woman, I've been on my end of that kind of behavior, and I've had to teach people that that's not okay. You know, I've had men, while I'm working, you know, go in to hug me, and I've had to tell them, like, you know, I don't really like when you try and hug me. I don't really know you like that. 1, because of COVID. 2, personal space. 3, we're not friends, and it's a teaching moment. So
it's
his fault.
It's obvious that it's not okay, and they should just obviously like get with the times. Really.
Yeah.
But it does. I don't know if it sucks, but like, it's kind of unfortunate for them that now they're living in a time not only where that's not okay, that stuff that they're so used to doing from back in the day where no one was telling them, like, no, you can't do that, but now it's criminal and will ruin your life. Like, and they're being lumped up with a whole group of people that are like.
You should know better, though. I just feel like the 90-year-old.
Absolutely, you should know better.
The 90-year-old man in the wheelchair at the nursing home who's still pinching nurses on the butt, he knows it's wrong.
Yeah.
He just knows that no one's going to say anything because he's old. But Cuomo he's a pretty important person. So you're going to tell me a week ago Cuomo pinched a chick on the butt? Yeah. He is a
for a
sexual
long time,
predator.
Yeah, for a long time, they've been getting away with
all that
like
kind of
that
stuff.
What's the word for like privilege, with the privilege of being older, or I'm from a bygone age, and
it's always been wrong.
Whatever, like it's always been wrong, and they know that,
and they've always been taking advantage. So
and they've been taking advantage of the fact no one's calling out on them.
Yeah, but they've known that it's wrong because that culture has never been. Like, how come women aren't pinching dudes on the butt? You know what I mean? It's always a man in a position of power that decides to take it as far as he can, and it's inappropriate. And I think this is a type of environment that we're living in right now where we're not going to take it anymore.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, I'm going to call the police, or I'm going to call HR, or I'm gonna say something because I finally can. And women are doing it.
Yeah.
Constantly.
So, like, even though... So, final thoughts, right?
Final thoughts is that sexual assaults have not in any kind of way increased. We're just finally speaking up about it.
Yeah, I believe that too. I don't think it's increased. I just think women have more.
Why would it have increased?
More of a platform. Like, yeah, I feel like if anything, it's gone down.
Because men are scared now.
Because people are scared that, like, yo, I can't touch somebody.
But isn't that really sad? Because I feel like every other day we're watching something about some woman.
Yeah, it just goes to show you how much worse it probably was in the 80s.
Oh, for sure.
90s. Like,
you could ask any woman over the age of 35 about, ask them to tell you a story of a time when they were made to feel uncomfortable, catcalled, sexually assaulted, raped and maybe not have said anything. I mean, every single woman has a story. Absolutely. I thank God every day that my story is not that intense, but I could really do an entire 35-minute video on every man in my life that has made me feel uncomfortable. Down to on the street. And it's not because of what I wore. It's not because of the time of day. It's not because I was bartending, so I had on a tight shirt. I'm talking the way I'm dressed right now. You know, it happens every day, and it's disgusting. And we're not going to take it anymore.
All right, now
we're not going to take it.
Now our video's flagged because you sing a song.
No. I sing it with my mouth like this.
Yeah, so women have more of a platform to speak. The judgment rendered on these people is a lot faster, a lot harsher.
You support women? Are you a feminist?
I am.
You have a daughter.
Yes.
I think as a girl dad, you have to be a feminist.
I'm with the fact that, like, it's such a harsh punishment. Like, if someone accuses me and, like, I do a couple days in jail, and it's like, I'm with that. Just for, even though they'd be lying, you know, because I would never do that.
Yeah.
But, like, even though they'd be lying, I'm with that because I know that these other dudes who are actually doing this are not going to get away with it.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, we played around with it where we were like, oh, yeah, maybe, possibly, but... The truth is, Andrew Cuomo is just as much of a predator and a sexual harasser as, pick a name, like anybody.
Don't forget.
That does that goes and purposefully makes these women feel uncomfortable and puts them in these positions where...
Don't forget, it could be 11 women who spoke up. That doesn't mean it's only 11 women he did it to.
Just putting these women in a position where it's like they got to choose over their livelihood or their comfort, you know what I mean? Going to work and just working and being comfortable, but then you got this guy, like, you know, predatory, but like preying on them. Just it's wrong no matter how you slice it. Even though he's old, he knows better.
I'm excited that the times are changing.
Even though, like, women always go through it and they will keep going through it because you're not going to get rid of all of these dudes. Never. That's the fact of life. Like, we're never going to get rid of all of these people.
At least it's dying down in the workplace.
Yes, but at least we can stamp it out and show people that we are not going to allow it. We're not going to allow it no matter where it happens, and, you know, on the damn, at work, in the TV shows and the movies,
there's rules.
Set, like, there's rules, and you gotta follow them and stop touching women. Keep your damn hands to yourself.
That's your final thought?
That's my final thought. It's so easy to keep. I've never
accidentally grabbed anybody's.
There's been women I've seen, and I'm like, ooh, you know.
All right.
That's a
Who you saw?
that's a good look.
The woman walking her dog yesterday?
No, what? Be like that. She fishing. Be like, yeah, that's a good looking woman.
Relax.
I've never once in my life thought maybe I could
go
brush up against her real quick and pretend like I was just reaching for the sodas.
Isn't it a predatory kind of like mindset? Who does
It's
that?
It's ridiculous.
Who like, if I drop this pen, I might be able to like what
look
the
up on the
hell? Jesus Christ.
Just a little innocent look. Just a little peek. Who am I hurting? Like you're sick, man. Come on.
Now imagine women that are going from work and going from home and having to deal with this at work.
Yeah.
It's gross. And it's like you should be able to feel safe in the workplace. And I'm excited to be in a place where, like in the world, that like I feel safe enough to go to work. Only places I'm not going to feel safe are on the street, and I don't chill on the street. I go from home to work and back and forth. In the same way I feel safe here in my home, I feel safe to go to work and to know that I'm protected. And to be honest, just now we got the Chinese. If that dude decided to get crazy, I could absolutely still call the Chinese or call the police. Like, it's just a world where we are a lot
those
safer.
Avenues to say stuff. All right.
Alrighty, you're a feminist.
Yeah.
You have to be. You have to be. That's black power.
What are we doing for women? We need a thing for women. What we rubbing up? Like a little.
I like this.
What are we doing? This?
Yeah, it's a heart.
Oh, okay.
You see it? Don't go like this though.
No, because I'm real with mine. What do you want to say to people?
I said what I said.
No.
Unfortunately, sexual.
Wait, no. What do you want to say to the people?
Oh, I was about to say the whole thing again. Like, subscribe,
comment, share, reshare.
Join the conversation.
I'm
I'm gonna ask every woman who watches this video to share a story of their own of a time when they were made to feel uncomfortable. I'm not asking for anybody's truth in a sense of like anything major, anything triggering, nothing like that, but nothing graphic, not anything too personal. I don't want to get too into your personal business, but I want to know about a time you were just walking to the deli, because we've all had that instance, and it's sad, and I want you to know this is a safe place to speak that.
What's more sad is that I don't even have a story. Even though you're talking to women, I don't even have a story if I was just like, oh, men go through it too. I've never been groped.
Yeah.
Sucks.
You know what? We should start.
I mean, it doesn't suck that I've never been groped.
Like, women should start. This is the year of the woman, you know? I'm going to start catcalling.
That's why you got this pink pen.
My pink pen. I'm going to start catcalling on the street. Ski you! Hey, good looking.